All right, hey everybody, welcome out to the show today. A little bit different. We know that there's a lot of crazy things happening in the world today, so we felt it was only appropriate to kind of do what we call a cold open, no intro, but we'll hopefully be able to get back to things that are normal on Monday after we kind of have a chance to decompress after everything. A lot of crazy news going around, so we appreciate you guys rolling with the punches as we, we said this is going to be kind of a transitionary show as we're going to. Hopefully, I mean, we're probably going to be talking about the Charlie Kirk thing for a good while, but because it does have ramification effects to a lot of the things that we talk about on a day-to-day basis. It's a big cultural issue. So, anyways, with that said, hello, Blabs. How are you?
Hi. Better than yesterday, I'll say that. But hello everybody. I'm glad it's Friday and that everyone can go and decompress for the next 48 hours.
I think that getting off the internet would do a lot of people a lot of good. Yeah. I think we've all had our faces and our noses in our phone trying to see as much as we possibly can. Probably got some data that we probably shouldn't have gotten. A lot of information that's thrown out there that
I got a new book that I can read over the weekend. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go read. Bye.
Nice. Well, joining us today for the first time, really excited to bring Ray on. How are you, Ray?
What's up, man? I'll tell you right now, can we just disconnect Twitter for the next 72 business weeks or something like that? That place has turned into a cesspool of depression this week, and I get it, but man, good Lord, I every time I think that I've seen the highest point of the depravity on the internet, Twitter comes back and totally redeems itself. It's been a mess.
I've said this many times. Social media we will reach a day where I think we look back on social media like we do cigarettes, and we say, man, that did way more. Like people's like, yeah, everybody go on, like doctors back in the day. They're like, oh, hey, have some cigarettes. It's good for you, right? And,
yeah,
hey,
it'll relieve your stress.
Right. It's good for everyone to have social media. Fuck that. No,
yeah.
Is a horrible idea, and there will be restrictions put on social media. And honestly, gotta be honest, probably a good idea.
I don't know who decided that everyone's opinion needed to be heard in the first place. So
vividly remember having that conversation back when X or Twitter at the time and Facebook and Instagram were starting up and being like, it's great everybody has an opinion. Then I really thought about it and like, is it great that everybody has an opinion? Yeah. So
hey man, thanks for having us here today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, brother. Glad you're with us. This is the Ray over from rumble.com, which is great. Also joining us today, always straight from the hood, everyone's favorite brother. It's
what
Phoenix.
Up, dogs? Yeah. So spoken as someone with the cigarette comment, as someone who's never had pretzels and cigarettes, I don't know, Craig, you may want to revise that statement.
Pretzels and cigarettes? I'll tell you what, I began to pay Phoenix in pretzels.
Yeah.
I get payday bars and he gets pretzels.
To me, it was an upgrade. If you ask me, it was an upgrade.
Paydays and pretzels. It just hook it to my vein. All right. Well, so we, like I said, today's going to be a little different. We're going to spend probably the first hour-ish talking about the updates on the Charlie Kirk stuff. There's a lot there, and it does tie in. I saw somebody in the chat say, "Oh, another day not talking about video games." Listen, man, I hate to break the news to you. There are more important things than video games.
Yep.
With that said, this does tie into video games, very much so. And it ties into the culture of games. And we will make it flow into what we have, our wheelhouse over here. Trust me, because it all ties in together. So guys, do us a favor, hit the thumbs up button, wherever you guys are watching, subscribe if you're new. We'd really appreciate it. Join the 130,000 just normal men over on YouTube, 20,000 over on Rumble, who come to us for normalcy in this crazy world. All right, so let's go dive right into this stuff. We saw the news right this morning about the assassin behind Charlie Kirk has been apprehended. There was a press conference this morning, which I'll tell you, before we get into this and actually get into the substance of the press conference, I wanted to kind of talk, I'll kind of mention this to you before we got started. Hold on just real quick. Sorry. I see gifted memberships and super chats. So let me just say this. We're going to get to all your super chats, all your direct donations, all your gifted memberships, which are incredibly generous. Just give us some time. Know that they are all greatly appreciated. CR Vox, that's ridiculous. 20 gifted subs. It's awesome. Thank you so much for that. We'll get to all of them, but we want to make sure the flow continues. So, but no Montez goal or anything like that today. So, like I said, we're dealing with some serious stuff here. But thank you very much, CR Vox. That is incredibly nice. All right, so this morning they had this press conference for the apprehension of the killer of Charlie Kirk. And also at the exact same time, Nintendo is having a Nintendo Direct for the 40th anniversary of Mario, just tied right into the day where Mario was released in Japan. So I was walking my daughter to school and I had a decision to make this morning. I was like, do I watch the Nintendo Direct or do I watch this press conference about Charlie Kirk's assassin? And for the first time, it took me back, and I was saying this pre-show, it took me back to June 17th, 1994, when I was 13 years old, the same age as my daughter, ironically, where on the same day, that's the day that the NBA Finals were happening, the O.J. Simpson police chase happened. There was a Stanley Cup parade that day happened. There was all these things that were intertwining that day. And there was it was one of those things where there was really big news happening in other places, but also things that I was very interested in that were happening at the same time. And I had to make a decision. And this morning, for the first time, I paid less attention to the Nintendo Direct and paid more attention to what was going on in the Charlie Kirk assassination press conference. It was an interesting dichotomy for me, kind of decision that I was like, okay, yeah, I think this definitely has a bigger cultural impact, learning more about the assassination of Charlie Kirk than what new Nintendo game is coming out, if that makes sense. I guess I host a gaming and entertainment and culture podcast. Should I feel bad about that?
No, I'd be concerned if you chose the other way around, personally.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just TLDR you. You're going to spend $90 now for the same Mario game you bought 10 years ago. So that's what you missed on Nintendo. And from that point on, I think there are other things that are more important.
Yeah. And pointed out in Jennings in the chat says life is greater than games, right? And I think that's a really good sentiment. There's this is life here that we're talking about. This is ramifications across the board. So let's actually get into this press conference here. We learned a lot about this assassin. A lot of the things, people saying that it's an inside job, blah, blah, blah. But when you look at when you just look at things in black and white, sometimes the most simple answer is right under your nose. And so we had this 22-year-old Utah resident, Tyler Robinson, taken into custody, turned in by his father. The killer then confessed to his father, who is a 27-year veteran of the Washington County Sheriff Department. His father then contacted authorities and secured his son before he could be taken into custody. I mean, I think that's Ray, you were saying before, just as a dad, I can't even imagine.
My daughter just turned 16. This kid is barely older than my daughter. I mean, he's a grown adult. I think he should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law as a grown adult. I want to say that right from the top. But man, he's a kid. And, so many times we see these tragedies, and the reality of it is, man, like, you can say whatever you want. Our children are being radicalized. Every single thing that's happening in this public school system is radicalizing our children. I have to sit my kids down almost every single day and decompress with them about the garbage that these teachers who are not, they're not guarded. They're not watched. There's no accountability for what the teachers say in class. I literally watched a 5-minute video this morning of a mom crying her eyes out because her children came home from school in a high school social studies class, basically, and said that when the news broke that Charlie Kirk had died, the class erupted into cheers.
Right.
In like a 10th, 11th grade classroom in high school. And the teacher did not stop and tell these kids that they're being out of pocket, did not stop them that they're being inhumane, did not stop and say that this is evil, that you're reacting this way. They're moving that narrative forward and saying, well, he was a bad guy and he found out and he deserved. And so, like, man, just the stuff that's being shoved down our kids' throats. And you look at this kid, this is a direct response. I mean, I ultimately think that we're all responsible for the decisions that we make. But we keep baptizing our children in just this garbage culture. And there's so many times ostracized. My daughter, without me even having to tell her, was like, I just don't talk about this stuff, Dad. Because like there's no win for me to have an opinion when I disagree with what I see all day long, every day.
Well, we're going to get into the radicalization of this kid, because if you go back to these pictures real quick, these were taken from the mom's Facebook page, right? And this kid, He's been handling guns for a long time. You look at the dates of these things right here. This is when he's, kid. This is 8 years ago at this point. He's, 14 or whatever.
Yep.
But right here, 2021, happy 16th birthday. He's a leather working, gun toting, cowboy loving, brilliant kid. He has so many talents, and it's been so fun to watch and develop. Love you, Austin. Right now, I'm guessing this is maybe his brother, perhaps. Right. I'm guessing right here, but you can kind of see this is Tyler here. Because his brother would be 16. So this is brother here. So they were raised in the outdoors. They're raised with a family, a mother and father, and this is this kid graduating here. And this was this kid Tyler getting a scholarship to school.
Okay. Congratulations. You have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years or 8 semesters.
So, like, good kid, head on his shoulder. So what happened? What happened? I mean, it like, you got to ask yourself what happened. And we'll get to that in a little bit. During this press conference, they actually pointed out a few things. I had this tweet out yesterday, where after the press conference last night, they went out of their way to kind of have some identifying features that this guy had. If you recall, they put this tweet out, said, "We're releasing additional photos of the person of interest in connection to the murder of Charlie Kirk," right? And they had these, and none of it was his face, and it didn't make sense to me at all. I was like, how come they don't just show you this kid's face, right? And they specifically mentioned his hat, his shirt, and his shoes. Well, it actually makes a lot more sense because his shoes, motherfucker didn't even change his shoes.
Yeah.
These are the shoes that he had on. This is the shoes like in these pictures that are on Facebook right here. So that's why they kept mentioning the shoes here. Engineering student at Utah State University over here. So let's actually there's so much here. I don't know. First and foremost, y'all's initial reactions to kind of seeing this.
Just speechless. I mean, honestly, like I said, as a dad, your heart aches for that father who his son comes to him and says, "I did this." And I mean, again, this is alleged at this point in time, I guess, but like his son comes in, confesses to him, and within minutes, he's securing his child and having authorities come for one of the most heinous assassinations that we've seen in our country in a really, really long time. And so like to me, my heart breaks for the family, and I'm sure that they're responsible to some level. I think that like family structure is super important, but man, like I've been all morning trying to put myself there as a dad. I just can't do it. Like I cannot get in the mental space of what that has to be.
Phoenix, your thoughts?
I'm just looking at this more just from a standpoint of just, it's starting to make sense for me as far as I'm taking the emotion out of it, and just it's starting to make sense how this guy did what he did. He had it appears that he may have had some training. He comes from his father, I believe, was in law enforcement to some degree. So it kind of makes sense because I was wondering not only how did he get it done. The shot appeared to be fairly skillful. I'm not a gun person, so I don't know. But then the fact that he was able to get away, like it just seemed like a lot of people were wondering if this was kind of like a professional hit because of how no one could figure out who this guy was. And it's starting to make sense. Okay, the kid had some actual training. So for me, there's dots that are being connected there.
So Phoenix, as a gun person, I have two thoughts. Like he either hit the shot of his life to shoot Charlie in the neck, or he was aiming for his head and misjudged and shot low. Yep. Like those are the options. And I think that like there's been a lot of communication internally with me and my wife. Like this is either a statement that we're shooting you in the neck to silence you, or a missed shot. And if he's on a rooftop, the reality of it is bullet drop and bullet velocity, even with 30-06, like at that distance, there's going to be some drop that you have to compensate for depending on what kind of scope he's using and like the details of the rifle. I mean, honestly, the humidity of it, there's a million things that go and impact it. And so like it is either the perfect miss or this kid could hit anything.
Right. Yeah. I think what more likely happened is the bullet drop. Like he was aiming for his head and hit his throat. And it's more or less a metaphor. It will come to be a metaphor for the action. But let's actually talk about this kid. He was fairly, based off those pictures, I would say a normal kid, right? So what happened? Well, during the press conference, they brought that up here.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in that conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger.
How often have we heard that? They became more political over the years.
Yeah, I wonder what caused that.
What's that?
I said, I wonder what caused that.
Right.
Like it doesn't coincide with going to a public university at all.
No. And the irony of this, I think there's a lot of reasons to this. And once again, we're going to speculate because we're just people talking on the internet right now. Because this is once again, if 2 + 2 does oftentimes equal 4. There's a lot of things that have been said about this kid, his being on a Discord and socialist discords and stuff like that. And, it's, but none of that's been confirmed so far. But what has been confirmed is something that was talked about yesterday before we went live, which was the engravings on the bullets themselves. And this was very interesting to see them confirm that this has actually happened and what was actually on that. And I want to dig into what exactly they were, because this is the first time that we heard specifically what was written on them. So let's go and hear this.
That had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this?" ? Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" ! Catch! ! Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
So let's kind of go down those one by one. Notice bulges, and OWO. What's this? You guys, when I heard that, I was like, what does that have to do with anything? Just off the top of your head, do you guys know what those means?
The bulges part is, from my understanding, is referring to, I think, trans ideology, or I think it can also be furry, I believe.
Right. So here we go. Notices, bulges, and OWO. What's this? These phrases can be interpreted as references to transgender and gender non-conforming identities, possibly alluding to physical characteristics or expressions that challenge traditional gender norms. OWO is an internet slang term often associated with a surprise or curious expression commonly used in online communities, including those related to anime, gaming, and sometimes furry fandoms.
So is that like uwu? Is that like how
I think it's meant to be kind of like a shock face, I guess. I've never heard of this before. Blabs, have you ever heard of the OWO? This is not
No,
my
I
wheelhouse.
always knew the Ubu, which is
Yeah.
UWU, which is just like like a thank
Yeah,
you
that.
kind of thing. But I don't think it's the same at all. I would hope not, at least, because usually the Ubu just means thank you, like kawaii, like not violence.
Yeah, Chad is saying that it's it's a furry thing, it's a shitpost thing, so that's interesting. But what about the other thing that he had? The up arrow, right arrow, and then the 3 down arrows right here. Well, someone was very quick to point out that this was a reference tied once again back into video games to Helldivers.
Yeah, it's the first thing I thought.
Yeah, which played Helldivers. It's fun, kind of one-dimensional if you ask me, but that's beyond the point at this point.
Not my favorite, but it's there.
Right? Which puts a 500 kg bomb, Helldivers input into one of his rounds. So yeah, Helldivers 2 reference right there, which dropping bombs. I mean, just on the surface, it sounds like this kid knew exactly what he was doing by putting these engravements here. That he's going to be dropping a bomb more or less on society. Kilogram, yeah, there you go. And what about the Bella Ciao thing? Now, Blabs, you were actually talking about this before the show, or you said that you actually sang Bella Ciao once, and your mom scalded you for this.
Yeah, so for the record, before people
She's
start
been
calling
radicalized.
Thanks a lot, Craig, for wording that in the worst possible way. Okay, so the song was hijacked by a bunch of really bad people that I did not know about when I was very little. So I was just like, oh, Bella Ciao, it's very catchy. And my mom was like, no, don't sing that. So no, don't ever sing that song. Thank you.
Well, obviously, I was referencing to Blabs being a giant fascist. Obviously, or anti-fascist. Yes, that's right.
Shit.
But Bella Ciao is an Italian song dedicated to the partisans of the Italian resistance who fought against the occupying troops of Nazi Germany and the collaborationist fascist forces during the liberation of Italy. So you could see, when you come to Antifa and these crazy ass groups over here that think that they're fighting against Nazi Germany, you understand, they think that they're actually fighting against this oppressive force, and that the regime that's here, that everything that Charlie Kirk represented, to the whole MAGA thing, and getting President Trump elected and stuff. I'm only connecting dots here. I'm just a stupid internet guy, right? But you can kind of see the connections that are all here, and it's all tied up. It's almost like a playbook for this kid's thought process and ideology, which, going back to the start of this, that didn't look like a kid who'd be writing those things, right? So once again, what happened? What happened here? So now that we have the context for the bullets and possibly the motive, which we don't know, but once again, put 2 and 2 together here, kids. I don't think anybody should be that dumb. We have a pretty smart audience over here. Am I wrong to connect those dots?
No.
Okay. I think the dots that I'm also connecting, and I haven't heard this talked about much, but also, to be fair, I've had to stay off the internet for the majority of this week. Outside of talking about football, I've not really been around. It's so weird to me, and I'm not a conspiracy guy, right? And it's never conspiracy until it becomes unpopular. But this is the exact same play that the Minnesota school shooter did in his video manifesto. Every round, every magazine, every weapon was inscribed with all sorts of this propaganda. It's the same play. That's what's weird to me. It's not just that this stuff is happening, but if you're paying attention, there seems to be connections. That's a little too coincidental for me.
I think that's you actually seen people online this morning. They're like, so wait, he wasn't gay and he wasn't a furry and he wasn't this, and it's like, you don't have to be those things to be a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, you don't.
So and okay, so let's actually talk about that reaction. But first, actually, I do want to get to some of your support. So thank you guys very much for your ridiculous support. And Armis came in overnight with a ridiculous donation, which I'll tell you, we're going to hold off on boob alerts and stuff because we're talking serious stuff. We'll do those in a little bit once we transition to Nintendo talk and stuff. But Wes says they're remaking Fatal Frame 2 for Switch. Not sure why they're doing this the second time. There was a Wii remake in 2008. Thank you, West. Marinum says, this has made me feel the need to be more vocal on social media. While I try to make sure my words are thought out, I won't be silent anymore. I am Charlie Kirk. Thank you, Marinum, with the $20 super chat. As I mentioned, CR Vox came in with a wonderful 20 gifted memberships to the channel. If you guys got gifted a membership, make sure you say thank you. Love to see that, and greatly appreciated, Vox. That is incredibly valuable, and grateful. We are grateful for it. Golden Satan says the assassin had a Helldivers 2 reference engraved on his weapon. I hope they don't blame video games on this horrific event.
Yeah, they will.
Yes, of course. It's an easy target. Sorry for the pun. Black Cat 7K says, if the stance is that CK, Charlie Kirk, deserved to be erased for those words, then those people stand against the heart of America. They reject the constitutional rights we hold sacred and act as opposition to our democratic republic. Thank you, Black Hat. Nathan says, Legal Mindset did a video showing a legal way we can clean house in these corporations that plays off what Asmongold proposed. Look the video up later. Blabs, see if you can find that from Legal Mindset, because we're going to talk about what Asmongold is promoting here in a little bit, because once again, it all ties into this. The trickle-down effect to this is going to be considerably greater than just executing a guy, right? Which, listen, that'll be a interesting day, but the trickle-down effect across culture will be far greater. The commander came in with $20 super chat. Says, rest in peace, Charlie. You didn't deserve this. We need to be better than this. We can be better than this. I have faith in this country. Thanks, the commander. Ministry of Wrong Thing says, I love you guys, but why are we helping make this shit stain famous? Get his face off the screen so we can ridicule him, let him know what a fucking asshole he is.
Yeah.
Point and laugh. That's why. Katie Astronaut says, not my quote, but it's profound. When emotion masquerades as reason, hate will be seen as virtue, and the truths will be seen as hate. Thank you, Katie Astronaut. Shell Beach says the parents outsourced their education and socialization of their kid to a system they were told they could trust. Hell of a way to find out you were cheated. Yeah, man. And the irony of all this is I have a, Ray, your daughter, you said, is 16, and you're having these conversations about college now.
Yeah.
And is this something that you guys have discussed as far as like, hey, are we going to actually do college, or are you looking at another path forward?
Yeah. Our family, I mean, we're a faith-based family. We subscribe to, faith, family, football. And then sometimes food is like the last F that we live by. You know what I mean?
All good.
And so my daughter, as she left as an honor student in middle school and went to high school last year. She was a freshman last year. She's a sophomore this year. She got really zeroed in on like Ivy League schools and was like really liberal Ivy League schools. And, I was pretty proud of her. She ended up taking when I was in high school, we called it AP. Down here in Florida, I don't remember what they actually call the class that she's
Advanced
in.
placement.
Yeah, that's what it was for me in high school. It was a college course, basically.
Yep.
I think they call it like Hope down here or something like that. But basically, she had a 2-year commitment to being in this college level world history class. And in her first week, they had given her a book that was just full of insanity. I mean, it was like the sexual expression of the Greek gods and how people sexually express themselves in their worship of the Greek gods. And we didn't talk to her about it. We didn't even encourage her. She came down one night with a letter that she wrote her guidance counselor that said, hey, I have a moral obligation to tell you that I have nothing to do with this class. I don't want to be in this class.
That is
at all.
wild, because I took that course. It's a 2-year course. I took it, and I didn't have that, and I graduated high school in 2014.
Her very first book was sexual discovery of the Greek gods and how it relates to, it was a whole thing. And she just, at 15, on her own, wrote a very well put together email to her guidance counselor. It's I respectfully withdraw from this class. This is not something that I can. And so she came to me and I was like, hey, look, if this is your decision, I support your decision on this. And I told her, I said, you got to understand, the world's going to be full of this stuff, Bella. The world's going to be full of things that you do and don't agree with. There's going to be things that you're exposed to. And I think the thing is, we walk through high school with you is to make sure that we're anchoring your foundation to be firm. And like, how does that impact you? And if you feel like this is not something you'd be a part of, I support it fully, and we'll make up your hope classes or whatever it is on the backside. And that's what she did. So lucky for me, I feel like I got a kid with a good head on her shoulders, and we are a very open communication family. There's not a night, and I wish I could tell you that we're a nuclear family that sits down around the dinner table every night. That's just not life, with high school sports and all the things that we do in our lives. But I tell you what we do every single morning that I take her to school, and every single night we're home, there's a conversation of like, what was your day? How are things going? How are your relationships? What boyfriends do I need to invite over to help me clean my gun collection? You know what I mean? What are the things that are happening? But it's freshman year, day one, for me, just agenda.
What did parents do, though? Did any parents say anything?
No, to be a part of the class, you had to sign a release form. You know what I mean? And so I think this is what we do. Like, and a lot of us, we learned down here in Florida, which is, even though Florida is a pretty conservative state, it's very different than Ohio, where we came from, where the release forms to families are unbelievably generalized. Like, it's like, I am allowing my daughter or my son to go through the class and understand that the contents of this class may disagree with specific, like, philosophical views, sexual understanding. Like, it's like a blanket that just like, here's the cut and paste. You're telling me that you agree to it. And so, like, even in like certain health classes for my son, and like when he was not even in middle school yet, he was just, I think he was in the 5th grade at the time, he got randomly sent home one of those. And I said, like, is this a science class? Like, is this sex education? I want to know. Because it was like, do you want your kid to be involved or not? But there's no explanation of what it is. And so we had to make the phone calls to the school and to the school board and to the county and say, hey, this is this class. Here's what is the content of this class? Because I can't release him if I don't know what it is. And I kind of feel like you're hiding behind your document. And that's just what it is to parent in 2025 right now. High school, middle school, and even earlier.
Man, that's crazy to hear. And to Phoenix's point, like, was anybody reprimanded for teaching 15-year-old kids about Greek sex? Like,
no.
What does that have to do with anything?
No.
Nothing,
yeah, and to me, like, you would expect that stuff in a world philosophy class. Like, if it's a 2-year commitment to be in that class, and she was even a sophomore or junior, I would almost be like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I get what you're doing here as a college level class. Not that I agree with it, but it was day one freshman year.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Wild, because I took that course and that's not how we started. No. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And you still became a fascist. It's incredible, Blabs.
Right. It's amazing how that worked out.
I really want to see like her textbook. I would love to see it because I kind of remember
I don't have it. We turned it in. Yeah. It was
very interesting.
It was a mess.
Because for people who don't know, it's a 2-year program. It starts from like the very beginning of history, and it goes all the way up until like 9/11, basically over the course of 2 years. Wow, I'm mind blown by that.
Brent says some context on the shot placement. I was flashbanged by the up close video of the hit, unfortunately, but I noticed something in it that appeared that the hit was just below Charlie's right collarbone and exited his neck. Yeah, I don't ever want to think about that, seeing that again. I saw it once and I immediately thought, wow, he's dead. And then I never wanted to see that again because it's so graphic and so no interest. No interest.
My mom called me crying and hopeful. And she was like, I just really hope he pulls through. And I said, Mom, like, did you see that shot? Like, realistically, like, I don't know that he made it to the ground, and like, I'm not trying to be vulgar about it, but like, that was the worst shot in regards to survivability. And so I also think it's really sad. Like, I really have had to get off of the internet. And I got a lot of friends that have even said, like, guys that are content creators that like their living is based off of like how they produce on social media, that are all uninstalling social media this week because it's just so far gone. And you see these stories where they're like, oh, you can see where the first bullet hit the second bullet. And it's like, just like all this garbage. It's like, guys, it's a microphone clip to his t-shirt. Like, what are we talking about? Like, come on, man. And so like just the stories and the misinformation and like this rush on social media for everybody to be the source. Like, let me break the story, whether there's any accuracy to it. Not. It's so freaking dangerous, man. It's so dangerous.
All right, we'll continue with your support and supers and direct donations and Rumble rants and gifted memberships and all that, guys. Thank you very much for those. We genuinely appreciate it. We'll get to all those in just a minute. Hey, Blabs, keep an eye on that. I just put a link, or I'm putting a link below your thing right there. I just put that in the doc. Keep an eye on that video. It's premiering right now, and I think that may be what somebody was referencing there.
Yep.
Cool. All right, so let's actually talk about what's happening on these college campuses in reaction to this. And this is, like, I feel like this is exactly what we're talking about here. So some whack job just sprayed kill all Charlie Kirks on the Seattle Central College sign. This is obviously a threat, but what the far left doesn't realize is that this madness is actually catalyzing responsible Americans to now say we are all Charlie Kirk. And I think that's the amazing thing about this, is that Charlie Kirk will do way more in death than he did in life. So that's, obviously this is Seattle, but like, what the fuck are we doing here? Then you see other people saying, do this. Hey, how about you do him next?
Wow.
How about you go after Asmongold? So tolerant, so loving.
I've seen ones where they have a list of J.K. Rowling, Ben Shapiro. It's
I saw that this morning too.
Nuts.
Yeah, the idea of this is just shocking and sad. And we're going to get to more Asmongold here in a second. But I saw this video, man, and golly. So I went to let me actually play this other video first before I get there. I went to the University of North Texas, and I saw this video last night. And do you remember a couple of years ago where there was a guy who was in a class and he was talking about the whole gender thing, and there was a girl who was standing up and just yelled. It became a meme where she was like, just screaming at him.
Yep.
Do you remember this?
Absolutely.
Okay, that was at North Texas, right?
Okay.
And North Texas is located in Denton, Texas, which is like a Temu version of Austin. And Austin is a Temu version of San Francisco, right? It's just, we're going to try to be weird and we're artsy and blah, 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 blah. And I saw, when I went to school there, North Texas is primarily a commuter school, but there's a lot of artists there, a lot of people who...
We're not all bad.
Well, yeah, it's okay. All right, Phoenix, you're all pieces of shit. Anyways, listen to this. This is a girl who is listening to just trying to have a little bit of logic, a little bit of reasoning here with some of her classmates.
I don't hear anything.
Yeah, me either. Oh, it's muted.
You don't hear anything? You didn't hear anything
No.
going on in the class?
No.
Okay, let me go and stop sharing real quick, and I'll reshare. I don't know what's going on with that. So the school is they're in a class. Let's try again, Phoenix, real fast. Let's see if you can hear this.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. This is them learning right here.
Why are we cheering for someone getting shot? No matter what political beliefs are, we should not be cheering that someone got shot. He has a family. We do. I value everyone's beliefs, but we should not be cheering as a class that someone got shot. He has a family. He has a family. He has a family. Yes, and who shot them? A transgender person.
Okay, so she's talking about another instance, and she busts out a little bit of facts. They're speaking of the school church shooting that was in Minnesota not too long ago. Who shot him, right? So she throws it out there. Listen to the response here.
Transgender person. Yes. It doesn't matter.
Did you hear the response?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what we're doing here? Oh, so you're racist because you pointed out facts. And they immediately went to straight white male.
Yep.
Listen to it one more time.
Yes. It doesn't matter. You should not be cheering that someone got shot. What do you mean? Yes. You should not be cheering that someone got shot.
The immediate jump to straight white male. Tell me, please tell me, somebody with a little bit of logic, tell me that is not programming. That is not
100%.
hearing that is not hearing that straight white males are bad. Straight white males are evil, right? Like you just don't say that on a whim. Oh, but what about straight white males? Like that's not how that's thrown out. That is sheer indoctrination. That is sheer radicalization, and that is happening right up the road from where I live in Texas.
Words or violence was never a mistake, right? So that like the whole idea is you immediately stop anytime someone is. The whole idea was to eliminate freedom of speech, right? That's your gateway to that. So the minute you hear anything, you need to silence it immediately. Whether you, in this case, unfortunately, commit unspeakable violent horrors. Another time it can be just screaming, where they just scream that way the person can't talk, or that they immediately go to the messaging immediately just to try to turn it off. None of this is a mistake, and this is as cult-like behavior as you can possibly get, where you don't even think for a second about even what your output is. You're just immediately saying the message.
I think it's so crazy that she's defending herself by saying, yes, I value everyone's beliefs, because that's garbage. That's not what the opposite side is doing. They don't value anyone's beliefs. They value herd mentality. And so, like, you know, if your belief departs from the herd, then you are the enemy. And I gotta be honest with you guys, if I hear fascists thrown around one more time, can someone go back to these schools and stop teaching gender ideology and start teaching history of what fascism actually is? Like, it is the most broken understanding and ignorant communication that we see over and over and over again. And it's fascism, and you're fighting Nazis, and we're doing all these things that makes us justified, and it makes us righteous in these acts of horror and these acts of terror that we're committing. But you are terrorists. You're just terrorists.
McCarthy was right, by the way. I just want to say that.
Well, we're going to get to a little bit more here. And by the way, a little more context here. Montreat says, not being cheeky, but the 100K go to the dad. But would the 100K go to the dad for turning?
That was my question.
In?
Yeah,
I thought that too. I'm like, is that just going to help his legal funds now? Like, huh?
How's that work?
Yeah, I don't know. Marmalin says, the sad part is this is why Charlie was going to those campuses and talking with these kids. This is the exact kid Charlie was trying to reach.
Yeah.
Ross says, I grew up using guns at a range ever since I was 5 years old and never considered taking someone's life because I was always taught that every life is sacred. I think he was brainwashed.
Can I say real quick, too? I mean, like, if you just look at this as far as logic, these people hate, let's say they hate one person's ideology. Let's say they don't like the fact that some people are questioning transgenderism. With the amount of hate to commit violence, but I'm not seeing the person that is, let's say, anti-transgender or has some questions about it, committing any violence towards them. These are wake-up moments for someone like me who did have a wake-up moment when they kept telling me all those people are fascists. And then I said, well, I think I'm going to go ask them about that before I just start grabbing my torch. And when you're kind of looking around the room and everyone's screaming violence, violence, violence against someone, it really disturbs me that no one just, like, maybe you should just fact check that for a second. Maybe just, I don't know, just see, because you're not seeing it the other way around. Like, where's the riots for what happened here? Wouldn't that be a kind of a little bit of a wake up call where you're kind of going like, well, I was told like all these people are out to kill us all. They want us all dead, but we just took one of them and still nothing. So my ongoing question is when are they going to, is there any brain cell in there to just question anything around them, or are they just embedded in the Matrix cult? I mean, like, that's it. They're just in it.
I think that's the irony of all this is they're over here thinking that they are so like that's the thing that we've heard over and over again. You're just not smart enough to understand this. You are so dumb, you straight white male, and we are so smart that it doesn't crack your feeble little peanut brain, right? So, hey, if they're so smart, Phoenix, why would they need to change the way they think? They're smarter than everybody. And it's the ignorance that they have, their bravado that they have, knowing that they're so smart and that they know more than you idiot. You know, they don't need to change anything. Why would they need to look around? And look, what's the old saying? Young, dumb, and full of cum. Right? That's
how I like to live my life.
That's right, Phoenix. It's straight from the hood. You know, but like that's it. When you're dumb, when you're young, you're stupid. And you are like that's the thing is they know that if they're programmed early, that they can take you out. And here, once again, this kid raised wife or with a mom, dad, brother, family, strong family structure right here. And then
that's how it looks.
They let him go. They let him go. They let him go off into this place that's supposed to be for intellectual thought, challenging ideas. This idea that over the last however long has turned into this indoctrination camp for kids. And my God, that is as a parent, that is terrifying to think. And it's the slow trickle down from colleges into high schools, into middle schools, and like, you look at this and you just have to say, where did this start? Where did this start? And you are supposed to go to college to be exposed to new things. But if you're only hearing one thing, and in this case of what was happening at North Texas, where this girl's saying, why are we celebrating this? And they immediately go, white man bad.
Yeah.
White man bad. Like it's straight up like Idiocracy. I just watched it. And they go, Brondo, it has electrolytes. Brondo, it has electrolytes. But Brondo has electrolytes. Like, and they go, what's electrolytes? And they go, it has electrolytes. And it's just reading the company line over and over and over again. These fucking brainwashed morons who think they know more than everybody else.
Yeah, but it infiltrates everything. Sorry, Craig. But like when you go back again to Minnesota, that's another family that on the outside, the family looked like they were a strong family structure. The mom was actually one of the teachers at the Catholic school that the kid terrorized. And on the outside, you would think that a Catholic school teacher, there must be some standards for that school to hire someone to have similar religious background and beliefs. And I know that, like, obviously equality, whatever, but like the reality of it is, like, church schools hire people that sing the same sheet of music that they do. But when you look at the deep dive into that family, that mom was so counterculture from the school that she was teaching. And I honestly can't believe that she ever worked there for more than 5 minutes. And so to me, that indoctrination is coming in from people that are forcing their way into even those spaces and bringing their ideologies to overcome the ideologies that look like that strong family structure. So I think that, like, on the one hand, yeah, it looks like from the outside, this kid was a part of a strong family structure, but like, man, social media, even in regards to like family optics, it's such a lie. It's such a lie.
You know, I want to, Phoenix, I want to get to you in just a second. I read this from Mighty. He says, I was almost brainwashed by Antifa types. Mighty, I would love to hear that story. I would love to hear what you went through, because he kind of gives a playbook here of like where it starts. How did you get out? I that's fascinating to me. How did you realize that what you were being taught was a bunch of shit and that ultimately it was going to be really, really bad? Phoenix, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but first of all, good on that person for having brain cells to consider what's going on and make in my opinion, the better decision. I was going to say real quick, you know, it's not only, I think all this stems from, in my opinion, parents not doing their job. But then there's another part of it too, where then you have the social media feedback loop, where right now, you know, at a time in high school where you always want to be cool, I was always the opposite. I was the annoying rebel, but most people want to be cool. And so when you're bombarded by classmates posting certain things that get likes, and then that gains you popularity and you want to be inside, you know, in the clique, you start right? Even there you're starting to get indoctrinated without much questioning. I kind of wish everyone, my parents raised me with a pretty simple rule set of like, whenever you go into a debate, never go in there to win, go in there to learn. And that was everything to me. It taught me, a debate isn't for me just to say how right I am and to win you over. It was the idea of, let me understand this viewpoint. Just because maybe I can learn something from that, but also worst case, also then I better understand their opinion. That way I can make my argument stronger. And I don't think a lot of these kids have been taught that. As a matter of fact, I would say most parents nowadays just want to be friends with their kids and don't actually want to teach them anything. They just want to be just besties, you know?
Yeah. A lot of truth in that. Well, let's go back. I saw this video today, man, and this was crazy. This is at Georgia Tech University. This is the South, y'all. The deep South, Georgia Tech, right? Let's take a look. This is the Bible Belt. Take a look at this minute and 15 seconds that will really tell you everything you need to know.
The day after Charlie Kirk's murder, we're here at Georgia Tech University in Atlanta, Georgia, and the first thing I see when I come to
the poster immediately.
I can't hear you, by the way.
Let me go ahead and pull it down a little bit just so we don't get flagged.
Campus is the fall of the Trump fascist regime beginning November 5th, 2025. RefuseFascism.org needs to be investigated. 2028 is way too late. Trump must go now. If you walk with me here, we have another sign. This is the scary part. The time has come for the fall of the Trump fascist regime beginning November 5th. No, in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. All over the campus, similar signs. No, in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. RefuseFascism.org, followed by a sign that we already read. This is happening all over this campus. So you gotta ask yourself, when you see posters like this nonstop, what are they advocating for? Are they inciting certain events that we have seen recently? The time has come for the fall of the Trump fascist regime. The time has come. I want to say that again. The time has come. That is what left-leaning organizations on college campuses at Georgia Tech are propagating to college students. So when I walk around and I ask students, do you condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk? And they say no, it's most likely because of stuff like this.
I feel like I need to make my way up to North Texas today and maybe do a little bit of videoing to see if that stuff is all around there as well. I think that'd be really, really eye-opening to.
I bet you find it.
I bet I do. Well, we've seen a lot of people that have taken a lot of glee, as referenced in that video, who have literally celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk, as we've learned more and more about this. And once again, all tying into the radicalization of just society, and whether it's driven through, in the indoctrination. And I'll tell you what, like, if this isn't a case study, when you look at this guy, this fairly normal looking kid, like I said, raised with a mom and a dad, core family unit. Dad is a member of the police, right? 27 years, literally his entire life. To see him be put into the oven that is indoctrination, and to come out the other side literally committing one of the biggest assassinations in American history, I don't know if that's a better billboard for, hey, probably not a good idea to send your kids, send your offspring to these indoctrination camps. And maybe that's the way to describe them now, is indoctrination camps, as opposed to, and the irony of all this is, like, there's nostalgia tied to this, right? We have been told our entire life, we've been told, hey, go to high school, get good grades.
Yeah.
Hey, go to college, get a degree, go get a great job, go live a great life, right? And I keep hearing over and over again how college age students, they can't make it anymore. The dollar doesn't go as far. And you know what? They're right.
Yeah.
So why are you still following that same playbook? How come you still think it's important to go to college? Why? There are plenty of other opportunities here that allow you to go out and try new things, whether it's trade school, whether if you want to go be a pilot, hopefully you don't have to worry about Greek sex, like you were talking about, Ray. What an absolute mess, to say the least. But this may be the best billboard I've ever seen. The actions in the last 48 hours for why you shouldn't send your kid to college. I'm going to have to make a hard decision here in the next few years with my daughters. Ray, you got to make a hard decision here.
Coming, man. It's
does it
coming.
make sense?
Like it's like a freight train barreling at me right now. Like
Trade school.
Yeah, I would never, ever, ever allow it. I'd say you want to go, great. You can pay for that. I'm
Yeah.
not sending you there.
Become like a plumber, an electrician. Those are always going to be needed.
And irreplaceable by AI at the moment. So the irony is that everyone that's going to college right now ain't getting shit anyway.
Yes. All right. Well, there's been a lot of pushback here where people have been very critical online. And we'll get to that in a second. Really quick. Dan, hey, great to see you, buddy. Dan Vask with 20 gifted memberships to the channel. Dan, always a pleasure, buddy. Hope to be able to connect with you soon, have you on to talk about this. By the way, Dan had a really profound rant while he was streaming with our friends over at Geeks and Gamers the other day that I encourage everybody to check out. Dan with a lot of knowledge about the background of how this slide can happen as he's from Brazil. So I definitely encourage everybody to check that out. But we've seen a lot of people who have been very critical of the response to people laughing and celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, and people have been obviously upset at the response of people laughing and dancing and celebrating. To where I feel like, and this was referenced yesterday, I think I initially heard this on Razor's show when he was talking about this, but it was referenced from a super chat yesterday. Like the left has a dial and the right traditionally has a switch. And I feel like this event kind of flipped the switch to where now action is starting to be had. And people who are upset about people laughing at Charlie Kirk, knowing that it is a despicable act, are now contacting other people's those people's employers. And guess what? They're getting fired. Mm-hmm. So this brings up the idea of cancel culture, right? What exactly does that look like? Is this good or bad? And we saw this guy right here. He says, I wish I could like this 1,000 more times. American is spending his days going around the internet, finding people making fun of Charlie Kirk's death, and I go and report them to their employers. Here, let's just go ahead and play this minute and 90 seconds here.
Hi, my name is Quinn Pratt, and I like going around on the internet finding people making fun of Charlie Kirk's death, and I go and report them to their employers so they get fired. And we got 5 more. We have sent out over 300 emails to employers, and we have gotten now 15 confirmed fires. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Gabrielle from Illinois, you're fired. Lincoln from Utah, you're fired. Amanda, another Amanda from Wyoming, you've been terminated. Suck it. Shasta from Washington State, your ass is fired. And Curtis, again from Texas. What the hell, Texans? What the fuck? Curtis from Texas, you've also been terminated. You're welcome. Now, truth being told, I've probably lost about 50,000 followers throughout all social medias while I'm doing this, but I would rather have every single one of my accounts hit 0 before I give in to these people. So if you want to try and affect me or affect my income by unfollowing me, I don't care. I would much rather go back to a 9-to-5 job than let this kind of shit slide. And I know for a fact that over half of this country agrees with what I'm doing. So hopefully they start finding me pretty soon. So go ahead and do your whole mass unfollowing and everything like that, because again, I would rather see all my accounts hit 0 than letting you guys try and bully me into not doing this anymore. And if you agree with what I'm doing, please hit that follow button. Counteract their mass unfollowing of me.
So I have
What's
a new
his
account to
name?
follow. Quinn Pratt 5. It looks like over on Instagram. Let me know what his followers look like, and maybe everybody can go follow this guy. So, it's amazing though, because the response to this has been, well, first and foremost, what are y'all's thoughts on his actions here?
That's not cancel. That's not cancel culture. When you're talking about, if you had, let's say you had an employee that is celebrating murder, I would be a little concerned about that. There's a difference between having an opinion of something, of X or whatever, That's not breaking any laws or anything like that. Whatever. That's freedom of speech. When you're starting to, I mean, look, celebrating someone's murder, you could argue is freedom of speech. But as far as employment is concerned, I would be concerned if my employee was screaming for joy over blood blowing out of someone's neck. That's a concern of mine.
I feel like, to further your point, Phoenix, I feel like cancel culture is something where you see somebody who said something a decade ago and they go, well, you can't say that.
Can't say that anymore.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't say that. Oh, he was in a movie where he said the F word. You know. Ray, what are your thoughts? Is this cancel culture or not?
I mean, I think it's less than cancel culture. This is a trend that's been going around the internet for years. I think we're just seeing it, like you said, the switch is flipping a little bit, and we're starting to see it on the other side, specifically with this. But I mean, even last week, like when the Phillies Karen, you know, the internet did its thing and found her instantly, and so like this is not a new action. I don't know if it's necessarily cancel culture. I think it's like a symptom or like of cancel culture, like where it's become so accepted that if people don't agree with me or agree with what I like, I'm going to go tattletale on them. Like I'm going to go tell on them. So there's a part of me, it's like, man, I don't know. But like, also I get it, because I'll be honest with you. If I could figure out every single one of those jerks at TMZ that threw a party when when he died, like, and it clearly TMZ, who is like dog water in regards to morality, like, also thinks it's bad because they put a statement out this morning that was like, we just want to be clear that the cheering that was happening was because there was a car chase and the driver was, shut up, like, miss me with all of that. So like, I think that when you are an employee of anywhere, you have to understand that you represent that company all over the place. Your social media footprint represents them, the way you behave out in town, the way that you behave at your kids' high school football games and volleyball games. You represent where you work. And like when you are out of pocket in a very public way, you're opening yourself up to face the consequence of those things. I think that people a lot of times misunderstand like the difference between freedom of speech and the consequences of the things that you say. Like those are two different things. Yeah, you can say whatever you want, but like you're going to carry the weight of what you say too.
I think that's okay. So there's a lot there. And man, it's,
I think I broke Craig.
No. You're right. You're right. You're 100% right. I think that cancel culture and what's happening right now are totally different. I think the analogy I gave makes a little bit of sense. You mentioned TMZ.
Yeah,
you mentioned TMZ here, and they were like, no, they weren't cheering the announcement of the death of Charlie Kirk. Well, this lady decided, hey, how about I just show you that you're full of shit.
Oh, I don't need TMZ's cameras. There's nothing I love more than a good investigation, and I'm coming to you guys with the receipts. Exhibit A, the alleged car chase that they were watching.
Right there on the banner below, you can see it started in Temple City, and we saw that. Go ahead, Philip.
Well, I wanted to let you know that President Trump has said Charlie Kirk has died. So that is the breaking news that we are likely about to have with ABC News.
Exhibit B, the giant clocks around their office. Exhibit C, don't worry, you won't have to do the math because I've done it for you. Timestamp time. It is 1:07 and 15 seconds in the afternoon, with the timestamp on their video of 3 hours, 42 minutes, and 5 seconds.
For 3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific.
Exhibit D, we have the cheering starting at exactly 4 hours, 17 minutes, and 15 second mark.
Get him.
Which is a difference of 35 minutes and 10 seconds.
This lady lays it down so good, and she makes them look like such idiots. Just, ugh.
So if you take the timestamp plus the clock saying it was 1:07 and 15 seconds, add 35 minutes and 15 seconds, what time would you have? 1:43. So they technically were watching a car chase video. What do you think they were cheering for?
People in the back room away from our news desk here who were watching a car chase, and they were laughing, they were clapping, and you could hear it out here.
Sure, friend.
And we want to make a couple of things clear. One is that I know these people, and they were not laughing, they were not reacting that way about Charlie Kirk's assassination. They were not. They would not work here if they did.
Sounds like they got a little bit of firing to do.
Well, they should, but no one's going to hold them accountable.
How do you hold them accountable in a situation like that? You know,
you have to have leadership that's got a moral backbone to do it. And like I said, when you look at that organization, I highly doubt that exists.
I don't think TMZ is seen as the ultimate backbone of journalism.
Yeah, I get it. TMZ number one is like, who has ever cheered for? I mean, even you talked about the O.J. Simpson car chase. Did we cheer at the end of that, or did we go, "Oh, it's over, they got him"? Like, I don't remember anyone cheering about OJ getting pulled over, and that's probably the most famous car chase in the history of the world. So it's just like a weak excuse, man. I would almost rather you stand up for what you actually believe in and take ownership in it than to try to skirt away from it.
Well, yeah, this as well. This guy Kevin Dalton says, for what it's worth, I worked for TMZ for years. I can say with rare exception, the newsroom is filled with hateful, angry progressives that would, without question, laugh at Charlie Kirk getting shot. Right. So, you know, just his own personal experience right here. So, but going back to the idea of like cancel culture over here, this is a viral post here from this person. Says, I'm not condoning, by the way, this is in response to obviously Kirsha. So originally there's a lot here. We'll start at the bottom. Asmongold said, if you guys want to make a list, if I have time tomorrow, I can put them all together in a video with links to their employers. Kirsha says, Asmongold asking for a list of game devs celebrating or condoning Charlie's assassination. If you find any posts or videos anywhere, please reply to him with them. And this person says, I'm not condoning the assassination, but it's so ironic that these guys have waged war on cancel culture and then continue the same behaviors, same exact playbook. They condemn people being fired over edgy opinions online just to turn around and do it when their turn came. To which was quietly or effectively pointed out by Kirsha. What the fuck did they think was going to happen? A continuation of, okay. You tried to ruin our lives for over a decade, but it's cool, bro. No consequences. Do not let them gaslight you. They would have no mercy for you. They've shown that, especially in the past few days. Yeah. So, I don't think Kirscha's wrong here. I think the shoe is on the other foot, and I have no problems with people losing their jobs based off of this. And Phoenix, I think you're right. You know, this is real time. You're advocating and laughing at murder of a person, which I got to be honest. If let's just say somebody went out and shot a super left-wing progressive. Yeah. If Phoenix or Blabs were laughing about it online, if I was laughing, I should fucking fire myself. You know, that's not how this should work. That's not what we're going to do here.
And if you're someone who can't connect with humanity, if I had a video where I'm just Milo and noticing my dog, let's say, right, and really beating him and laughing, or just pointing at a video and sharing that and laughing, you'd be very concerned about your employers right there. But to me, there's a huge difference with that.
Yeah. It's a mental health thing.
Yes.
Right. I don't want fucking Looney Tunes working for me. Sorry. And look, we're a small business over here, right? We're hoping to make waves, and we're going to get to the business aspect of all this later. But there's an opportunity here for a giant culling of all this, of a giant purge of this disgusting behavior inside these companies, which ties us into the next part over here, because we did see from Sucker Punch Studios their response to this person over here who worked for Sucker Punch, developer, says, I hope, we talked about this yesterday briefly. I hope the shooter's name is Mario, so that Luigi knows his bro got his back. And he also retweeting this. He died doing what he loved, being a transphobic, racist bigot. Well, guess what? Fired. Yeah. But hey, let's just double down, by the way. Double and triple down over here. If standing up against fascism is what cost me my dream job I held for 10 years, I would do it again 100 times stronger. Which I think that, to me, tells you everything you need to know, that they are so ideologically driven that it doesn't matter. They're willing to give up their dream job because they think that you are a fascist.
I
Phoenix.
keep trying to tell people this, is that a lot of people I'll say in this, as far as politics on the right, a lot of people keep thinking that money will solve something. It will not. You're talking about an ideology. So that's not going to work. They don't care if they lose money. They don't care if they lose their job. They don't care about any of that. The message is what is most important. Here's my message to everyone. I would recommend wherever this person works, you don't buy that product, period. Anywhere they go, you don't buy that product. There's my extremism. And as far as Ghost of Yyou'reeee, I was going to get that. Not only will I not get that, but I will never buy a Sucker Punch game moving forward ever again, period. And you trust me, you can hold me to that. Fuck all this. We need to start sending a message out there that you need to start really looking at the people you're hiring and the messages that they're putting out. And this is despicable, in my opinion.
You know who we haven't heard from, despite the firing, is Sucker Punch. They haven't had any sort of statement about this. Now, DC Comics, we saw one of their folks fired, and DC Comics made a statement, but Sucker Punch hasn't released a statement. And I think Az is right here, because they're scared.
Yeah,
they're scared of the backlash from the freaks that they employ, because they know where the unhinged violence truly comes from. That tells you either leadership is too scared or leadership is aligned with this message. And firing one person, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Can I ask a question though? Like in regards to gaming industry, like when did it become that the norm and the acceptance and all of it had to be? I mean, I don't even want to say it's far left. It's like radicalized fluid gender ideology. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we look at what's happened with Sony and their failed games. We look at what's happening with Concord right now. It seems like guys like Sucker Punch. I want to be clear. I'm not defending the company for not speaking. That's not where I'm going. I'm just saying, like, the belief right now is so strong that the conservative or the straight white guy is not the market, that I think it is about money sometimes, because they're fearful of not appeasing the demographic that we have become also convinced and trained that is the demographic in the gaming universe. Like, I am not the demographic anymore. Whether I am or whether I'm not, that's not what's communicated.
You know, Phoenix, sorry. Phoenix, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. You prior to here had you said that you gave up your career based
everything.
Off yes, you literally gave up your first career because of this. When did you start seeing the shift, or was it always there?
So no. So back in the day, the artists, this is not going to be a shocker, very, very left leaning, and as was I. But they were always freedom of speech. They were always, listen, they may be our enemy or whatever, but we need to fight to give them their right to speak. It was when I started to see that starting to shift, and when you started to see that in the higher ups, and you started to see this weird messaging about how we need to be more inclusive with this, and this, regardless of talent or ability or anything like that. That it was like, this is starting to feel kind of culty. And then sure enough, then they start telling you, well, we need to eliminate a whole group, a race of people, in this case, white people and straight people, and all that stuff. We started to see it coming, and they started regarding other people who were against that or didn't fall in line with that as fascists. That's when it started to wake me up. Again, as I keep saying, then I went, well, I need to talk to them. I'm not just going to take it for, okay, you just told me that, so all right, let's eliminate these people. I wanted to talk.
I agree with what Chewy just said in the chat. Chewy Cadaver just says that game demographics are ignoring 90% of the actual base. And while I think that's true, again, like, why is that not what's communicated? Like to me, that's a problem. And I think that one of the things that we're seeing that long-term, we might look back at this Charlie Kirk situation. I've seen so many people in the Rumble community, so many people that I know are connected to Rumble, or even in some cases, the other apps that are coming out on Twitter, and they're saying things like, hey, I'm not going to be quiet about what I believe anymore. And I'll be honest with you guys, like whether you agree with me or disagree with me, I want you to be honest and communicate what you believe. Like you have a right to do that. And it just seems like it's so suppressed. I don't understand how it can feel like the actual industry is so skewed by what they're shoving down our throat to understand versus what the actual demographic is. I'm telling you that there is not 90% of the Call of Duty players in this community, the Call of Duty community, that wants to see trans flag gun skins. We don't care.
Stop playing Call of Duty. Yeah. It's very simple.
I agree. No,
I
don't disagree with you. But the point they're making is like, who's the guy in the marketing meeting that's like, you know what 15-year-old boys want? Trans flags.
Yeah,
like, who's that?
Because it's very simple. If I've got two people to bully, one person never puts up a fight ever, and the other one always does, I'm going to just go to the one that's like, well, they're going to shut up. I'm going to take it, and they'll shut up and do nothing. I'll go to that.
The path of least resistance, right? These people aren't going to be a pain in the ass. These people will, fine, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I looked up on, I was just Googling, the CEO of Sucker Punch Productions. It's a person named Andrea Figuracion. And I got to be honest, I can't find a picture of this person. I can't find a LinkedIn. I can't find anything about this person online. I'm sure they exist, maybe, but I legitimately.
Are you?
Yeah,
are they in the room with us right now, Craig?
I don't know. I feel like they're right behind me.
Yeah.
Blabs, see if you can find a little bit of information.
I'm looking
about
on
this
LinkedIn
person.
trying to find, because I don't see anything either.
So this person has been fired for being a dipshit over at Sucker Punch. But this has definitely started, I would say, another movement here. And every movement needs a head of the snake. And I think that Asmongold may be this person who has brought this to the forefront. Once again, not to say he started this, because we've been talking about this for fucking years. But hey, be happy that this has been brought up. He dropped a new video calling out various industry leftists and wants people to take responsibility. I would say declaring war on the industry.
One of these companies and you have a person like this doing it, make sure to talk to HR and let them know how uncomfortable you feel that there's a person who's working at your company who might want to advocate to have you killed because you disagree with them. Tell them that it makes you afraid to come into work. Tell them that, you know, you don't know, maybe you're going to file a lawsuit. You feel unsafe at your workplace. And honestly, here's the important thing. You should feel unsafe, because these people would justify violence against anybody who disagrees with them. And just because you think you know them doesn't mean they wouldn't do the exact same thing to you.
I think what he's saying here is really, really important, because they would do the exact same thing to you. And if they're going to play dirty, congratulations. It's time to play dirty.
But that's the flaw in his statement, Craig, though. When you look at all these people that are getting fired for their, you know, far left wing, they're all HR reps. Like, I'm telling you right now, like when you go to an HR rep at 90% of the businesses, and my stats are not justified, I'm making that up, it feels that way. Like, you're walking into the lines, then I promise you the opposite side of what Asmongold is encouraging people to do is you are going to get fired because the HR rep's going to disagree with you, because they are the ones that are supporting this movement above and beyond. It's always HR reps. It's always. Just
curious. In your experience, and the 90% that you've seen, just as a general question, are they male or female?
It's always female.
What is the age of that HR person?
It's like that. Well, it spans somewhere in between that, like 45, 58.
The lead over there. Okay. What race, nationality, creed?
12 times out of 10 they're white ladies.
Okay. I'm just
12. I get it. Yeah.
We're just connecting dots. That's all.
Yeah.
We're just connecting dots.
Yeah, I'm also happy to be disagreed with on this topic. I just feel like you're walking, like they will do the opposite, and they're going to do it when you walk into that office because they're waiting for you.
Good. So what you do is you go in there because they have to document everything, right?
Yeah.
Now fuck all these people. So they have to document everything. If you can record them, if that's legal, please do so. Have them record it and then sue their asses. I implore and urge everyone out there to start suing everyone that you possibly can. Because here's the alternative. Well, if I go in there, I'm going to get fired. So once again, I'm going to do fuck all and let society and culture burn because I'm scared. No, fuck that. Go in there and start making change.
That's not my point to not do it.
Oh, I know it's not your point.
That's not my point. My point just is like, for whatever reason, man, it is the HR Karens. I think someone just said it in chat. Like it is 100% these human resources, human relations people that, and like the funny thing is, man, you get these HR professionals at Fortune 500 companies or game studios or whatever it is. None of them have an education or a background in being an HR person, and they all act like they've got like sociology degrees and they're all psychiatrists and they all are like, but they're not. They got fired from Walmart. The company was hiring HR. They end up being an HR person out of Walmart 15 years ago and somehow have convinced themselves that they understand sociology and interpersonal relationships. It's wild. It's wild to me.
Let's go to finish this video here when it comes to Asmongold and his thoughts.
And this is them. This is the game that they're making right here. And you can see that they've made no statement about this. Now, let me ask you a very simple question. If these people made a degrading comment towards the trans community, for example, or towards the black community, for example, do you think Sucker Punch would have immediately fired them and made a statement? I think so, absolutely. But for some reason, these people are protected. And the reason why they're protected is because there's a lot of other ones at the company that feel the exact same way that they do. That's the only logical reason that I have. And I think that at a certain point, Sony or somebody needs to step in. Whoever owns this company needs to step in and root out this disease before it kills the entire company. Because I do think that it will have a tremendously negative effect on the game.
I think that's what we've been preaching for a long time, is that you see here's the reality. No amount of my opinions don't reflect my employer in your social media will, that's not like some sort of fucking legal disclaimer, right? It doesn't stop you or your employer from taking actions. As a matter of fact, the first thing that most employers look at nowadays is not your resume, but is your social media profile. 100%. Right? Yeah, I'm sure you know, Ray. Yes. Mm-hmm. So the idea of, hey, guys, just because I'm saying something my employer doesn't like doesn't mean it reflects my employer. No, everything you say online reflects your employer, reflects your family, reflects everything else, right? So yes, 1000%. Like there's no bullshit disclaimer when it comes to this stuff. A lot of people have been pointing out this legal mindset video that was put together by him, and it's about 15 minutes long, and he was talking about the Asmongold thing in general, the thoughts behind it, and I wanted to kind of dig into this a little bit, and this is about a 15-minute video. We'll skip ahead a little bit because what he does is he goes through a slideshow, but I think it's important to kind of put this in context here because a lot of people are saying that you can go to OSHA for a situation like this. What's OSHA? What's it mean? OSHA is what? It's the OSHA is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, which is the U.S. federal government agency here. So I'll tell you what, let's check out this video from Legal Mindset, which could add a little bit more credence to what Asmongold is suggesting here, which once again is a really, really good idea. And I'm totally on board of that. Guys, you're going to see some of your supers scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Thank you guys very much for your support. Literally, we can't do the show without you guys. Thank you very much in advance. Just wanted to say that. Your supers, your Rumble rants, your Kick support, you guys watching over on Kick, you're even over on Twitch, our little Twitch audience. It's great to see you guys. Let's go check this out from Legal Mindset. If you guys haven't, make sure you go subscribe to his channel. Let's see what he has to say about Asmongold's suggestions.
Doesn't fully understand that that's not going to be enough in and of itself. You need to do more. And here's why. Let me explain to you guys. So first of all, as a disclaimer, I'm going to give you something to do. This is only to do if there's a credible evidence-based situation, and it is not to be applied just to blame other people without cause. We all know that in the past, people have pointed to other people, and because of their nationality, affiliations, politics have said, hey, this person is naughty for no reason. I am not telling you to submit anything false other than what you believe is a credible threat to safety. I'm going to say that one more time. It needs to be a credible threat to safety based on evidence. This is only
Which I think in this situation with people laughing about murder, I wouldn't, like, as you said, Phoenix, I would not feel safe going to work knowing that people were like, yay, a guy got shot in the neck. Hello, hooray. You know, this, what he's saying, it makes a lot of sense. Ray, you got any thoughts?
I mean, it's been way beyond people just laughing. I mean, like I said, like the cesspool of social media has opened and the sewers are flowing into the streets. It's not just, hey, I'm happy. It's like, this is the start of it. Let's keep going. Like there is not enough chatter about the overwhelming radical left encouraging this kind of stuff. And if we look at it, I mean, it comes from their leadership. It comes from even the former president calling Trump all the things that he called him. He is the biggest threat to democracy. Again, there is a rhetoric that pushes these lunatics to feel like, and I'm talking about radicals, man, that pushes them to feel like they are the righteous moral high ground and are cleansing the earth of the disease that they disagree with. I wish it was people just laughing. It's not that. I mean, there are active threats that are happening across every social media platform. It violates every social media platform's terms of service, and it's just rampant.
I feel like, you know, that switch has been flipped, and it's like we're done fucking playing at this point.
Yeah.
And it very much feels like that. We're done playing games. And if you're going to act like this, this is the response to 10 years of being told that you're a horrible person, right? That once again, the straight white male is bad. You know, this is what you're seeing right now. These people losing their jobs. Good. Let's go ahead and check this. Keep going on this video here.
only applicable in the United States, but I know that many other countries have similar laws. I think the UK has laws like this. There's other countries with laws like this. And the root concern is safety, right? Safety is a legitimate concern. It's a baseline societal concern. Your society needs to be safe, both at home and the workplace. And this is something the law is very much concerned with. Law and order is safety, health, safety, welfare. That's at the core of the law. And now this can also apply to people of all political backgrounds. A lot of people are saying, hey, this is just a right-wing talking point. No. In fact, if you have a legitimate safety concern, I don't care whether the person is right, left, or center. And people who watch my channel know I am apolitical. I do not care. The law should apply equally to all. We all believe that. If you believe in the legal system, if you believe in justice, the Constitution, if you believe in everything that America stands for, everything should apply equally to everybody. So this can apply equally to everybody. How?
What is
Imagine
controversial?
that.
Yeah, what is controversial about that statement?
No.
Like everything should be applied equal to everybody. No, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, everyone except for you, Craig.
Oh,
you can
listen.
get lost.
I know. I've been told to get lost several times by people who are now whack jobs. Good riddance.
Man.
Let's continue.
However, let's acknowledge we're at a point in which one side here, it seems that maybe certain people on one side here are disproportionately celebrating this. Although there probably are people on the right. There's some people that might be celebrating as well. Once again, this can apply to everybody regardless of politics. So let's get into it. What is the key here? So the key and the problem is that we have legitimate threats. Now, some of you may not know this person, but this is Kit Noel. She's a cosplayer, and she, before Charlie Kirk, gave a bomb threat to a convention. And once again, there are people like Kit Noel and others that we may think they're joking, haha, online, but there's only a little difference between Kit Noel and ending up in the Charlie Kirk situation. So these type of people, like Kit Noel, like anybody else who's in this situation, need to actually be reported. They need to be turned in, and they need to suffer consequences. Well, if you see people reposting stuff, and I took this one here, this is just an example. I saw so many today, but I wanted to give you guys an example of celebrating violence, saying, hey, we need violence. Violence is good. Remember, if this was something that was put out there by somebody on the right during COVID, they would have absolutely been investigated, probably fired, maybe arrested, right? This is something that you need to have looked at. People need to examine these people and say, are they okay in the head? Are they a safety concern if you are posting this? Because there needs to be a serious investigation. If you are posting something like this, anything similar or worse, you need to be investigated. There needs to be a serious investigation here.
Okay, can we, I saw, as he's talking about this, this is what I thought of. I don't know if you saw the video of this guy over here who got fired for his thoughts. Did y'all see this video of this guy?
No.
I don't think
probably worked for Papa John's or something. But look at how I'm guessing it's a guy. I don't know. But look at how they responded. Then tell me this person is fit to work anywhere, based on their response to getting fired.
Fired from my fucking job. I was just fired from my job. I was just fired from my job. I was just fired from my fucking job. I was just fired from my fucking job. Now I have nothing but this. I have nothing but this website. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. Ah! Ah! Ah!
Okay.
Sorry, he's funny. He's nuts. I kind of wonder if he's playing it up because he recorded himself too.
Yeah, I wonder what of it is an act or what of it's like, clip farming, but also when it's not and when it's genuine.
Yeah, when it's a genuine psycho.
You think people like watch this stuff back? I go back to like the election in November, like the morning after the election. The videos were fantastic. It was one of my favorite weeks on social media. But my constant question to people was, people watch this back and they're like, yes, this represents me. I want to post this. It's so wild to me. Like, yes, I would love for the world. I would love for the 1.1 million people that see this video to think that that's how I am. I can't even.
Well, social media turned reality into reality TV. So it rewards the worst behavior possible.
Yeah,
it is the sticking the controller up your butt kind of thing for likes and dislikes. So again, we're in cultural decay because the worst of us or the loudest of us is always rewarded. So when you've got, especially when you've got a couple of screws loose up there, now you're really now it can get real ugly.
Yeah, but there's the side effect of that, and I hate this. I've got friends of mine that are in the streaming community that are content creators, and they see exactly what you just talked about, Phoenix. They see people that are getting rewarded for being out there, and like let's just say like TikTok rewards that shock and awe garbage.
Sure.
And so like I've got these guys that are self-respecting, very good, very talented creators, great on the microphone, better gamers than I'll ever be, and I tune into their broadcast, and they've got like stuffed cows on their head, and they're like, oh, for when I get 10,000 followers, then I'm gonna dye my hair purple and I'm gonna tattoo my, and it's just like all this stupid stuff that's being negatively reinforced for people to feel like these are things they have to do to be successful in the space. And I wish people could just have some self-respect. Just
quick reminder that our subathon is coming up next week.
And I'm going to pierce my ear.
Blabs is going to get the Mike Tyson face tattoo if we get there.
Absolutely not. Flawed, though, on the other hand, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Well, just to continue here, so we're not doing a reaction to the entire video over here.
Look at the face. Look at the face in the still right now.
I know. It's crazy. But going back to the legal mindset video over here, he does kind of have a quick TLDR on this. Over on X says Asmongold doesn't know how right he is. This is literally a legal silver bullet that can completely purge and transform corporate America, but it must be applied very carefully. He followed up saying, talking about the stream coming shortly after, how to take action to report genuine safety threats. And I think that's the most important thing. Going back to what you said, Phoenix, you have to go in you have to feel unsafe at your workplace. And now more than ever, when people are saying, hey, I don't feel comfortable because this person was celebrating a bullet going through a man's neck, I don't want to work with that. That is scary to me. I don't feel safe going to work because I don't know what they're going to do next. I think that is 100% a very reasonable thing to do in a situation like this. This is not fluff, but real effective action steps from a perspective of an experienced U.S. corporate lawyer right here. Report unsafe or unhealthy conditions here. And he also included a slide here. It says, OSHA is step one to clean up corporate America and investigate extremists celebrating death. Strong legal precedent. HR can't minimize it. Reporting it can be done anonymously and doesn't have the cost of a lawsuit. It's free. Act now to see a credible threat, if you see a credible threat in the U.S. And you can see Asmongold responding. This is great insight. Honestly, I don't know how strong some of these systems were. Look forward to sharing this information in future videos. Hey, the best thing you can do, go retweet this. Go retweet that. Let everybody know. Right there, retweet. Let them know that we're fucking done with these Looney Tunes. That you don't feel good. Do it this right here. Boom, 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 boom. This thing down here. Tap it. Tap it hard. Boom it. Get rid of that. Purge all these fuckers out of these things. Let them know you don't feel safe when they're out there celebrating this shit. Get them fired from Domino's Pizza. Get them fired from Sucker Punch. Let them know there's no place in society for this degenerative, nasty behavior of hate. Let them know they should be shunned. It's disgusting. They're not welcome. You don't celebrate death. You don't celebrate the assassination of somebody. There's no place in society. There's no place in your business where you work for them to be welcome at all. Get them out.
Amen.
Slow clap.
Thanks.
The joke is, I'm sure someone went
noted.
to HR and said there was violence because someone showed their white family. They have a photo on their desk of their white Christian family.
Right. I don't feel safe with this person. Right.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot here, right? And I think that is as mentioned, the silver bullet when it comes to this stuff, and it's important. And it is also great to see employers taking action when they see their employees being batshit insane. Take, for instance, this person from Tesla over here. Says, I just know if Hitler would have died in 2025, y'all would pull the, I'm not a Nazi and I didn't agree with his views, but he was a human being. Y'all are sick. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk.
He was just a guy. I mean, like, oh my gosh. It's so hard for me to not like combust when I read this stuff. The dangerous thing to me about this entire situation is that Charlie Kirk's not a politician. Like,
no.
The power that he has, obviously, he's got a large support base, and I think that like content creators, I mean, in most cases, Kirk was a political content creator, and he did way more than that. I don't want to put him in that box, but like at the end of the day, he's a dude. Like, he's not been elected to anything. He's not an official. Whether he did do that later in his career and his life, that's yet to be seen. We'll never know because we were robbed of that. But the precedent is being set that like if I disagree with normal people, we should assassinate them. That's the scary thing here for me.
Oh, 1000%. It's terrifying. To further this home a little bit further, this is what makes Elon Musk great, because he took action. This person is not currently employed by Tesla. This was a Tesla data analyst. And Elon's like, nope, gone.
Bye, Beth.
Yep, see ya. Get the hell out of here. That's what you do. That's what you do, you know? Because once again, I'm going to press this home one more time. You can say, my thoughts are my own in my social media posts. No, they're not.
They're not.
No, they're not.
And your company gave you a social media strategy and agreement and all of those things, terms and conditions of employment, and what your social media policy is and what you will and won't adhere to. I know that it has become common practice at every profession, from ministry to Fortune 500 to freaking GameStop. You're signing a social media policy form when you take. I don't get what the confusion becomes about any of this.
Well, hey, they all want to be martyrs, and hey, let's be real, right? Like. We all have seen, I've been talking about this for fucking years, right? If you've ever, it was really kind of funny because if you've ever been to a gaming convention, you can see this all makes sense. You have a group of people that are socially awkward. A lot of them on this
Spectrum.
scale or system, spectrum. Yeah, thank you for that. The spectrum over here. Not all, some, right? And once again, this is not putting down people with autism, right? Some of the most high functioning people, that most brilliant people have
Elon
autism,
Musk.
right? Yes, fucking exactly.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that oftentimes socially awkward. So you gravitate to a hobby that allows you to communicate without actually being out there. Case in point, hey, guess what? Video games is really great, right? Video games really great. I can talk to people online and shit talk. Or I also, hey, there's anonymous things online. It's like a fucking stew. If you put all these ingredients together, all of a sudden, boom, guess what you got? What happened what happened the other day, right? There is a problem in the gaming space that nobody wants to talk about. There's a problem that it's inside the industry, that is people who work inside the industry, who are catered to inside the industry, that cater to people that are just so ideologically driven, right? This has been what this show has been about pretty much since the show started. It was so eye-opening to me after I left this industry for a year. And then I came back and said, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
But there's a problem that nobody wants to address. And it gets worse every single day until this happens, until you do something about it, until you act like Phoenix has said, and you vote with your wallet. Or if you work at these places and you go out and you say something, you let them know that it's not okay for little they, them, Timmy too over here to say that they like Charlie Kirk getting shot in the neck. And you let your HR team know that it's not acceptable. It starts on the inside. So everybody who works within the industry, if you're watching this, I swear to God, Sam, clip this out and put this on my social media. If you work within the industry and you're not saying something and you're not going to your HR, you are part of the fucking problem. I don't want to hear anybody complain about it. You can't complain unless you say something, unless you do something about it. If you're not a part of the solution, you are part of the problem. So do something about it. Speak up. Let them know they have no place. This hate is not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. I'm tired of it. It's disgusting. It's on you. It's on you as the gamer. It's on you as the developer. It's on you as the publisher. It's on you as the CEO, the business owner. Whether you're making indie controllers, indie games, or AAA games, it's on you to set a precedent. Now is the time. This is a line in the sand right here. Do something about it.
How do you follow that?
So fucking tired of it.
I'm with
so
you.
fucking tired of it. It for me, this has been the thing about this is I've seen this, right? I've been doing this for 20 years. I've worked in the game industry. I've worked on this side of it. I've worked on both sides. I've worked on the access. That's the thing that people hate about me is you talk about the silver bullet. That's why they don't come after me, because I've literally done everything. I've worked on the access media side where I've got to get interviews and stuff. I've worked on the review side. I've worked on the podcast side and the video side, the live streaming side. I've made games. I've made events. I've done literally everything that you can say, well, he's only doing this because of this. No, I'm doing this because I see a fucking change, not just in the video game industry, but it trickles down into society. And that's why I'm passionate about this shit. All right. Sorry.
No, please never
apologize.
apologize.
Yeah, do not apologize.
No, I don't. I don't. Let's go and continue here. You've seen a lot of people on social who have people like, once again, people in this space, YouTubers who have gone out of their way to have say, hey, Charlie Kirk was a very evil man. He spent most of his career dividing this country with race-baiting rhetoric, defending pedophiles, and advocating for genocide. I'll be honest and say it's hard to find sympathy for a person who didn't even see me as human, which is, talk about fucking indoctrinated.
He handed you a microphone. That makes no sense. It's the
Gave
opposite
you an
of that.
opportunity. Gave you an opportunity to talk about. Also, where, dear X, dear Twitter, where's the community notes on this one?
I don't think murder is ever the right course of action, though. I will not miss Charlie Kirk, but I don't think he deserved to die. Hopefully this country will one day come together instead of feeding into the division of political commentators and figurehead spew out. You don't think that like he's not adding to this guy? And by the way, I would be able to take this guy a lot more seriously if he could define what a woman is.
Yeah, be nice.
Right? As soon as he comes out and says, this is what a woman is, instead of being scared, chicken shit, telling people, hey, oh, a woman is whatever you want it is. Man, fuck off. Right? Instead of being scared of the mob that will eat you as soon as you have as soon as you don't align with one thing that they say, which we all see it. We talked about it yesterday. This constant spectrum that is things are being added. You gotta go for this cause. But oh, you don't agree with that? Well, then you're a fucking bigot.
Yeah.
They eat their own constantly. And once again, look, you want to have your opinion, that's fine. Just don't celebrate a man's death. Just don't celebrate a man's death. Tell you what, Blabs, will you read a few supers while I take a drink of my water? Or do you guys have anything really fast?
No.
I'll just say this about the Mightykeef. That whole formation of that copy, that whether he wrote it or someone wrote it for him, or I don't know what his team is, because he's got a pretty big account. I was checking him out the other day. Like, it is a prototypical toxic relationship fake apology. It's the apology that's like, hey, I'm really sorry, but I'm really sorry that I said that to you. I'm sorry that I hurt you. But like, that's the format of that. He starts the whole thing out with like divisive and rhetoric that's going to solidify that he is as radical left and as radically against free speech or truth or whatever you want to call it, and then tries to sugarcoat it at the end with being like, but we shouldn't really kill people, and this really is a tragedy. I don't even have patience. I don't want to see that.
This is exactly the issue here, right here, he just tweeted this out just now. For 2 days, Republicans everywhere stated that they were done being nice and that war was coming because in their heart, with zero evidence, they truly believed Charlie Kirk's killer was Democrat or trans or black or whatever. Now that he is just a straight white male with Republican parents, they're quiet as a mouse. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, dude, we got 5,000 people watching us right now. You think we're being quiet about this shit? Yes, He was a straight white dude with Republican parents. What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Did you not see? All the shit was tied to all of these things right here, you fucking dumbass. Like, talk about being in a bubble. Come on, what are we doing here? He says this type of division is what got our country in this shithole. Oh, okay. We even had the president calling for division by implying the shooter was leftist without even knowing who the shooter was. Bro, this country is truly fucked. Are you like, can you not put 2 and 2 together? Because no, 2 and 2 equals 4 to you. Of course not. You fucking moron. Like, talk about being in a bubble. Yes, I'm done playing nice. I'm done being, haha, look at me. I'm fun old Craig. I'm fucking done, man. I'm fucking done with this. Crazy. Sorry. I'm not fucking sorry. Like, that's just a crutch word for me to use. Like, I'm tired of this. Like, the gloves have come off. This was a turning point for side scrollers. This was a turning point.
The only thing I would add to that, I hope, just stop me, shut me up if I'm derailing slightly, is so I love the energy and the momentum that people are starting to get now. This is great. All in positive, legal, peaceful ways. I like that. And I think we need to do more of that. And I think we need to stay on that mission. But what I hope we start doing over some time now is stop complaining and start creating, start building, start making things. Because the problem is that right now we're at the mercy of their culture. How do we know that? Because we keep complaining about them. They're the ones that keep controlling the narrative. I want to start moving away from these people. I want to ignore them. It's like a little barking, little tiny dog that, yeah, good, he, him, shit, fucking shut up. And just continue on our path and start giving audiences, no matter what channel you are out there, start giving your audiences new entertainment, new things to look forward to instead of always being at the mercy of someone else. Now is the time for all of us, while we have this momentum, to build some really incredible, great things. Fuck them and their culture. Let them have it. Great. Let's start making stuff now.
Let it rot. Let it rot.
Exactly.
Let it go. And what's okay? Look, Turning Point USA was and is a machine. it will still go. Obviously, a major cog of that machine has been removed from that machine. But that is what we are trying to build here at Side Scrollers, just in our space, this gaming entertainment space, a space that Turning Point and Daily Wire and go down the list of all these other major machines in the space have neglected. They don't believe in culture. They don't understand the cultural impact of video games, of entertainment. Oftentimes it's shunned on those platforms. They truly don't get what we're doing, which is why you are so important. Like, for a call to action, we are, like, to be clear, we are trying to build that. We have to build that. We have to build an alternative. We have to build video games. We have to build great entertainment that doesn't align with this nonsense. That is why your support is so important. That is why Side Scrollers Plus exists. Like, I don't want to turn this into a sell job, but for us to get there, we need your help. We don't have donors. I'm not going to go show up at a rich guy's house and say, hey, we need $100,000 or $500,000 and you get to be a donor for Side Scrollers. Maybe I should. But for us to truly make a cultural impact, we need your help. It's true. We cannot do this alone. This costs money. You know, Charlie was really good apparently at going out and finding donors. It was a multi-million-dollar organization, right? We are scraping by on a day-to-day basis, but I believe in what we're doing. Phoenix believes in what we're doing. Blabs believes in what we're doing. Everybody associated with this knows the goal of this, and that is to shift culture, to provide an alternative, to do something instead of just talking about it. Action. Action. Say that over and over again. I am a doer. I create. I build. I've done it my entire career. I will continue to do it. But now more than ever, it's important to fund those creators, not just us, but everybody else. We talked about this yesterday. Support with your wallet. Remove that Hulu membership, that Netflix membership. Go support other people who are taking action in the space, who aren't afraid to stick their neck out, so to speak, and say, hey, we're going to do something different. And you know what? Not everything we do is going to work. It's okay. We're going to fail sometimes and we're going to get laughed at. That's okay. But we're doing and we're trying and we're learning. I say it every day on our show. If you have a goal, go get it. We are going to get it. That is what we're doing. We spent the first 2.5 years of this thing building, securing, taking all of your money, putting it in, all the money that you supported over the last 2.5 years to pay Phoenix, to pay Blabs, to put on King of the Cart, right? It is now go time. It is go time. It is time. This now more than ever is go time. It is time for action.
Amen.
I hope that people understand that. I truly do. I hope you guys truly understand. And you see the passion that we all have behind this. This is not a grift. This is not, hey, I hope we all, can retire on a boat someday. You want to putting a fucking nail in the ground, a line in the sand, especially over the last couple days. That line just got deeper.
I think, Craig, I think if you look at both of our backgrounds, I think you'd see I'll just speak on both of us as far as we're pretty driven it's more about changing culture than getting a fucking infinity pool. We all make sacrifices. We're all trying to do something great. We as a team, we've all discussed these big dreams we want to do at this show, and it goes well beyond a kart competition. We're talking games and movies, and that's what excites me, is getting there. So that our momentum, I feel very positive about our momentum. I'm feeling really good that we're taking a horrible, miserable situation and it's starting to light a fire under people's asses. And instead of destroying that's the outcome, we are building and we are creating. That's what has me so excited, and I want to thank everyone for having that momentum. Keep that momentum up, because now we're going to win, and it's going to be a wonderful future if we can keep that up.
And you said this something. This is more than having a Mario Kart competition. This is more than just, King of the Couch, right? Those are steps in what we're doing here. Phoenix said, we need to provide an alternative, and there's a giant hole out there. You see this every day, and it's more apparent than ever, right? More apparent than ever that there's a giant hole sitting out there. We want to fill that hole for you because we know that there's a lot of people out there that don't want your trans bullets in Call of Duty or whatever. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people who they want an alternative to Call of Duty, and that's look, we don't have $200 million to develop the next Call of Duty, right? And you're going against a juggernaut, but you can create smaller games, right? I've always said if somebody gave me $100 million to spend on video games, I would make $25 million games. That's what I would do. I would make $25 million games, maybe $52 million games. I would just make a bunch of games. Some are going to hit, some are going to miss, but it starts with those resources. Yeah. If anything that we're saying strikes a fancy or a fire, like go to Plus, Side Scrollers Plus, and sign up for a membership. We can't do it without you guys. Full disclosure, we were supposed to do another event here in a couple of weeks in September. And earlier this week, I was like, I don't want to settle for thrown together. That's not what we're doing here. We're not throwing anything together with Side Scrollers. You guys deserve quality. You deserve the best. That's what we're going to do our best to give you. And once again, is it always going to work? No. Is it always going to be awesome? We're going to do our best. But that's subjective, right? But we're going to give you our best every single time. That's what we've shown you over the last 2.5 years, what we will continue to show you. And, like I said, we're gonna have some hits, and we're gonna fall on our face. But you're on this with us. You're on this journey because you are subscribed to this channel. You're following this channel because you believe in the mission. You believe in what we're doing, and you're gonna tell other people about our mission. That this isn't just a podcast. Side Scrollers is not just a podcast. It is a brand that will be producing all of these things. It is an entertainment company that is meant to serve as an alternative, right? It starts with a podcast and it goes everywhere else. And we will get there. We will get there. It'll take time. And I may be an old ass crusty man with gray hair. People are why don't you fucking retire, Craig? Because the mission's not done. Because the mission's not done. All right. God, we're approaching freaking 1 o'clock already. It's crazy. This has flown by so fast. I do want to get to some of your super chats and some of your direct donations. Wasp says, look up the Red Ark. The FBI exiled American communists to the USSR. There's legal precedent to exile these communist extremists with violent tendencies. How about exile to Cuba or North Korea?
Yeah, give them their utopia. Send them.
That's right. Let them know. The irony, what was that? Was it Patrick Bet David who did something with Jubilee or whoever that was? That was like, yeah, I'll pay for your ticket to go there. And the lady's like, what? Shady Duck says, I was talking to my grandmother last night about what crazy stuff was going on. And one of her responses was that it's all conservatives. She saw it on the news. And I had to explain her what the news wasn't telling her. That's right. This whole both sides thing is amazing. Dr. Professor Jenkins says straight white males are the majority of this country. It is normal for them to be the majority in any category. Skin color, gender, or sexual orientation become important when the minority is the majority in a category. Thank you. Scabadabadoo says, I went to college in Colorado after I left the Army in 2017. I was shocked at the amount of indoctrination I saw. I even had a professor who bragged about being in the weather underground and having an FBI file. I don't even know what the weather underground is.
They were, I believe during the 60s, pretty big domestic terrorist group. I think I have that right.
Nice. Bennett says, I very much understand how communist, socialist, Marxism, National Socialism, etc., are all on different flavors of the same toxic poison. They stab anyone, even each other in the back when it benefits them. Thank you, Bennett. Black Cat says, it's not cancel culture to fire them. They've voiced support for eliminating those with Charlie's views. They are a threat capable of causing damage and sabotage against those with differing opinions. They cannot be trusted. Matt Fleming says, in 2003, I was spat upon while in uniform waiting in line at a DMV. In 2015, while in college, I was called a Nazi by both profs and students for saying support the troops. The hate started with them. Wow. DJ Mike Fury says, believe in you, Craig, since 2006. Charlie Kirk is an inspiration for us all. The left lost all credibility when they silence a man's tongue. You are not proving him a liar. You are proving the world that you fear what he says. Thank you, Mike. I once again, I would be remiss if I didn't point that that Aramis, and let's add a little levity here. Phoenix Aramis came in with the $100.91 direct donation. Says, those are the stories. Those in the stories could have turned back, but they didn't. They kept going, holding on the belief that some good remains in the world. It's worth fighting for. That book quote stay stalwart. May your weekend carry less weight. Be at ease. Thank you, Aramis. Appreciate that greatly, man. Burn Bridges says, rest in peace, Charlie, with the 10. Mercenary says, this is either brainwashing of MK Ultra or demonic possession, and I don't know which is worse. At this point, we have to round them up and put them in a facility. We have to find a way to fix them, or we're doomed as a species. I'm not a big fan of rounding people up unless they're absolutely batshit crazy and them finding a padded cell. Tadarian says, hearing that I can upset people simply by being straight white male kind of makes me happy. We really do have power, and the power to make people butthurt without lifting our finger. Of course, it also highlights how insane these people are. Thank you, Tenarian. Mochi says, the NOS, part of a Dutch government-funded news network, NPO, is pushing a dangerous narrative to justify violence. In response to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, they aired a poorly edited clip falsely making claims to paint a certain narrative. You do not hate the mainstream media enough, right? I don't use that word. I hate the word hate, right? But it's evil. Like, and if you haven't seen that over the last 5-6 years, the narrative that is spun by these corporations, by these people in charge, by these news editors, by these reporters, I know most of you guys, you've seen the full mask off.
I'll really very, very quickly, just a short story. I had a friend who used to go in blackface, go to anywhere there was crowds and try to create fights. And he wound up winning an Emmy for a DEI kind of. That's the media, by the way. Yeah.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So on the front surface, like, oh yeah, racial unity.
Wow.
Mm-mm. Chili Mad Gunner over on Twitch just gifted 20 subs to the channel. Wow. That is outstanding. Coming off of Dan's 20 over here on YouTube. And the 20 from CR Vox earlier. We got Twitch, we got YouTube. I don't think Rumble's seen any today, or Kick, but hey, guys, thanks for tuning in to wherever you guys are watching. Mercenary says, sorry, but this kid is just too convenient. The fact that there's articles posted the days before he died of Charlie Kirk being assassinated, not to mention that book that was on Amazon or Kindle, that one being posted on the 9th. Sorry, but this stinks. And it's Siver says, unfortunately, the problem with the rot of DEI or DIE is that it infests companies from the very top. C-suites are filled with anti-white, anti-human people who will cheer when you are murdered in cold blood for disagreement. Lunduke and Kirsha report on them. Yes, both of them are great, and both of them have been exiled from their circles, just as we have, right? Which is why you have to stick together. You have to stick together, which is why you have to create alternatives, which is what we're attempting to do.
Yeah, and again, not to be a hippie, but what are you going to do? I am. Love literally creates things. Hope creates things. Yeah. Hate always destroys things. So we want to take a miserable event and actually start building and making from it, because then means every time something bad happens, we merely multiply. Do you know how strong you are that every time something bad happens, we just grow? That's love and that's hope. And I really hope that we stay on that path. And so far it looks like we are. So I'm very happy about that.
Your statement yesterday about them bringing a gun to a microphone fight, like, that was really profound and very true. Very true. And I appreciate that, man. Give it up for World of Gaming, gifting 5 subs over on Rumble, and Jimothy Stickle Pasty with 5 over on Kick. All right, so we've hit YouTube, we've hit Twitch, we've hit Rumble, and we've hit Kick today, guys.
Clean sweep.
Thank you. Yes, that is a clean sweep. Let's make it to Plus next. Let's see if 5 of you join over on Side Strollers Plus. That would be spectacular. Y Incarnate also just gifted a sub to Nombread. All right, look, this has been an emotional week, to say the least. I think you can do one of two things. You can complain on the internet all you want, or you can do something about it. We are choosing to do something about it. This has just thrown more wood on the fire, right? For me personally, this has helped. Look, light the fire that much more inside of me. Charlie Kirk was 13 years younger than me, but man, he was wise beyond my years. And I look up to what he built. So hopefully we can do something similar here with Side Scrollers. I know that we are in a different genre of space, but it's important to provide alternatives. So thanks for rolling with the punches this week. We're going to see where this goes. Obviously, a lot of people, this is going to be a very hot button thing for a good while. And I don't know if the wound that was opened up this week will heal that slowly. Because I think a lot of people, they are angry, and as I mentioned, you can be angry, just don't act out of hate. There are different things, right? Ray, you said you work, in kind of the ministry, right? Yeah. I don't know. Do you I don't want to go all religious or anything, because I don't know if that's really but I don't know. I'm sure you have some profound thoughts on the this past week.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, obviously I've got my opinions of, guns don't people, lost people kill people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Things like that. And I think that there's this really large distinction, or really this attack that comes against people of faith, believers, Christians, however you want to call it, of trying to gaslight us into saying, well, you're not following Jesus because you're not opening your borders, and you're not following X, Y, like whatever the things are. And there's millions of them. There's just tons and tons and tons. The reality of it is that as followers of Jesus, like, we're just as broken as anybody else is. We deal with the same things that non-believers deal with. We put our pants on one leg at a time. We walk through all this life, but whether you're following Jesus, whether you're not following Jesus, whether it's some other, whatever it is, like there is a good and a bad in this world. There's a light and there's a darkness, and I believe I'm attached to following the light. And as a Christian, I believe I follow the true light, and I'm sure that other people believe that for where they are. But we got to stop being so afraid of hiding that we are influenced by our faith, because the more of that we hide, the more of this stuff that we see. I mean, this week has been brutal. It's been, Charlotte early in the week, and Charlie Kirk in the middle of the week, and a school shooting in the middle of the week. Mm-hmm. And 2 weeks ago, a school shooting that was at a Catholic school. Guys, like, we're never going to unify until we can find something to unify under. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. And I think that's a great thing about faith, and the great thing about not necessarily religion, I wouldn't say, but Christianity, is that there is a call for us to come together, for us to seek a greater good, for us to chase the heart of the Father that we are supposed to be led by. And, for me, it's hard to see those things removed from schools and replaced by Greek mythology, sex practices. It just is difficult for me as a dad. It's difficult for me as a believer. And I think that if we would stop believing or stop convincing ourselves that the brokenness in this world is not related to the turn from faith and from God, then I don't think we're ever going to get it. You know, not to be preachy, but you asked.
Just hear your thoughts. You know?
Yeah. I think that, like, you know, obviously we've been given a road book as Christians, and a lot of other religions have similar road books and core values and beliefs. I can boil it down to this: like, we just got to be better, man. Like, we just have to be better, and we got to find a way to get there.
Well, and I think that's the thing is I feel like you have it starts with reality, and I think that's where a lot of we are living in two different realities right now. We are living literally in two different realities, and unfortunately, both sides see them as doing good. They both feel like they're doing good. One side feels like violence to fascism is a good thing, right? The other side's going like, "Yo, what fascism? What are you talking about?" You know, like, it's just strictly
the one silencing speech and murdering is saying the other side is fascist is kind of funny to me.
It's pretty funny.
Pretty funny. We say it's all about action. Give it up right here for I'm saying it's KKY. Says Craig, I talked to you back at the Red Coconut Club during MegaCon meetup. I've had enough of standing around and getting piled on with hate. As I write this, I've created a YouTube account and will try to build something like you and like Charlie did. Wish me luck. That is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
You got a goal, go get it. It doesn't matter if you're good right now. Just start.
Yep.
Start. You will get there. Okay? You will suck.
Yeah, your first 100 videos are going to be terrible. Enjoy them, love them, learn from them.
All gems.
Yeah,
all perfect.
Phoenix coming in.
Spectacular. And thank you so much for the wonderful support, to say the least. That is incredibly generous. And hey, go get it.
Yep.
Winterfell says, just want to say I appreciate the respectful coverage. And speaking of respectful, says the respectful coverage of events the last few days.
I feel so dirty doing all these.
Yeah, I know. Says no easy task. Thanks for being normal men. Thank you, Winterfell. And Nomadic Arc says it's pretty fascist when you're deporting people without due process. Oh, I see. Is this what we're doing? Is it we're going to play this game?
But they are getting due process, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
I don't think they know what due process means.
Yeah, it's fine. This is what we're doing. We're going to play that. That's good. We're going to say the people who came into the country illegally are going to get their due process. That's great. Oh, sounds good. All right. Well, thank you for the free $10.
And they've already shown they have no care for human life anyway, but they don't really care. It's just all the messaging.
That's right.
The message.
That's right. Y Incarnate, thank you so much for the other gifted sub to Pal Naya over on Twitch. That is great. All right. Ray, please tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, Twitter is probably my biggest social media platform right now. So you can find me on Twitter. I keep calling it Twitter. I guess it's actually X at This Is The Ray, just like you kind of see below me right now. But really pushing on Rumble right now, a brand new creator Rumble. I've only been here for like 2 or 3 months now. A small but mighty following. I think we're getting ready to hit, if we haven't already hit, 400 followers in the first 2.5, 3 months. And we do all kinds of stuff on my channel, like gaming channel primarily is what it's been. But I have been for over 15 years NFLPA credentialed and used to be an official media partner for the Washington Redskins up in Washington, D.C. before I moved down south. And so I had a podcast and did on-camera work for the Redskins and wrote for the Redskins and did all that kind of stuff, photography, videography, all that super, super, super fun production stuff. And so we've brought my Redskins podcast, my Commanders podcast, to Rumble as well. And so you can check that out. It's in Washington. First episode just happened on Wednesday. Pretty excited to just be bringing all kinds of content to a free speech platform where I don't have to be afraid of, having the conversations that we just did. Pretty exciting. Love to connect with you guys.
Well, share my screen real quick, and I would like everybody to head over to This Is The Ray Gaming over on Rumble and do what I'm doing and hit that follow button right here, so you can see that.
Thank you, my friend.
See that number grow over there. And obviously, make sure you go follow him over on X as well, which is great. A couple last super chats before we roll out, which, oh man, this is going to be fun. Graham says, everyone needs to start building a better world. If that means risking your job or sacrificing something you enjoy, so be it. Too many folks talk a lot, but act little. Time for action.
Yes.
Preach, Graham. Lando just says poop. I mean, W's.
It's a correction from his previous super chat.
Oh, he said, can we get some L's in the chat for Blabs? This week in gaming may have been hit or miss, but she nailed the guest list this week. Thank you.
I got all their games on the list today.
Lego Star Wars. Listen. I had Lego Star Wars on today's gaming history. That's a mega W.
Oh, I'm such a Star Wars nerd. I was here for it.
And then we got another free 10 from Nomadic Arc, by the way. It says they weren't getting due process until Albergo Garcia was forced to be brought back by the Supreme Court. I see you don't care about that. Oh, okay. Well, so
why do you care so much about illegals?
Yeah, I know.
just curious.
Because the message tells them. That's why.
That's right. Please, more. A Magnum Beef says illegals do get due process. The due process is that if you come to the country illegally, you get deported. That's the process, and it's long overdue. Yep. Preach. All right.
You're arguing why the person should be able to break into your home. I guarantee you would never, ever do that ever if someone broke into your home. Move on.
No, of course not. Yeah. It's like, hey, oh, come on in, guys. And that's the thing is you see somebody like that and you ask them like, hey, well, we have this this person who is illegal. Would you like to have them come in your house? They go, well, actually, we see these videos all the time of these people who they have the biggest loud mouth. They got the megaphone, but as soon as you offer them the opportunity, they go, actually, no thanks. Here we go. There is a Mexican, Cuban, and a Brazilian in a car who's driving Border Patrol. Thank you, Mighty. All right. Let's get out of here, guys. Appreciate y'all's support. Thank you very much for being a part of our life, allowing us to be a part of yours.
Thanks so much for having us, and I love the Nintendo Virtual Boy.
Just a piece of news today. Bye.
Yeah, the Virtual Boy's coming back, and that's great. And I mean,
can I get my Power Glove? Can I reset the Power Glove, but will it actually work this time?
That was Mattel, man. Mattel, that was a third-party accessory, all right? But it was so bad. All right. We'll see where we go with the show. Hopefully we can get back to normal on Monday. But like I said, this is going to be a long-tail discussion for a long, long time. But most importantly, we can talk about it, but we got to do something about it. So let's do it together. Head over to Plus, sidescrollersplus.com. Use promo code Plus. Get a discount. Once again, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. No, fuck it. I'll just tell you. The price is going to go up. So get in now. Just letting you know, the price is going to go now. The price is going to go up on Plus very, very soon. We'll tell you more about that later. So become a member now. I'm just letting you know. So use it. Go over there and become a member today of Side Scrollers Plus. No wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm done with the subtlety. All right. Guys, thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Get outside. Get off social media. Go touch some grass, please. I'm going to take my phone and fucking throw it into the ocean. I can't wait for the weekend. And then we'll come back fresh as a daisy, ready to attack on Monday and get things done. In the meantime, Ray, great stuff as always.
Thanks so much, my friend. Appreciate you
guys for sure. Have a great rest of your day. And remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Do not let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. See you guys later. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Fatality.
You're not gonna fart?
I thought today was probably not the best time for that.
you don't want to fart?